In this video, I'd like to show how Will did in oral surgery, both before, during, and after the oral surgery, and also how he's doing now. And if you'd like to see more, then stay tuned. Hey EllisFamLifers, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is EllisFamLife, #AutisticTwins, where we like to do three things. We want to raise awareness and acceptance for nonverbal autism, relate to you and the autistic person in your life, and educate by sharing examples and stories of our life with nonverbal autistic twins, Alex and Will. Hey EllisFamLifers, before we jump into today's video, I wanted to give you a quick update about Granddad. Most of you know from last week's video that he had a heart attack and had to have triple bypass surgery this past week. He did great, and in fact, he gets to go home a day early. So I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone's well wishes and prayers, and also to show you a little bit about what Granddad said on Facebook, and you can see where I get my storytelling talents from. We are so thankful that Granddad made it through surgery okay. And Granddad, we love you so much. Okay, today's video is about Will. And y'all know I've kind of gone back and forth with how much do I share of each twin. Do I try to make it fair and even and share good things for both twins and bad things for both twins? And really, I just need to focus on sharing each individual personality because each one does things differently. So for this video, I want to talk about Will and his oral surgery. And if you've seen our going to the dentist video, you know that both of the boys did exceptionally well considering they are special needs. And if you haven't seen that video, it will show up on the banner at some point in this video and you can click it over and watch that video as well. But the boys did okay. And I knew that Will needed oral surgery. He has obvious spots on his teeth. His teeth are rotting out, and I know that we are going to have to go under anesthesia and go to a regular operating room. He's never going to be able to tolerate sitting in a dentist chair awake, having work on all of his teeth. And literally, he needed work on every single tooth. So we talked with Dr. Willingham and set a date for going to Children's Hospital in Birmingham and having his surgery done under anesthesia in the middle of August. So it took about 2 months for us to get in just because it's crowded and complicated, and he has to have surgery time in the OR, and we have to be able to line it up with our schedule. And it was a Friday, and we just set the date and colored out the whole day to take him for oral surgery. Okay, so both Frank and I are nurses, so I really wasn't that nervous about him having surgery because I know what the medical world looks like. I know what an operating room looks like. I know what you have to do to get ready for surgery. There are hoops that you have to jump through, and you have to make sure your child is healthy. And all of those things, I wasn't really afraid because I've been in that world for so long, and I've taken care of patients immediately after surgery. And those doctors and nurses and nurse anesthetists, the OR nurses and the doctors, they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a long time. They've put children to sleep for a long time. They've intubated, which is where you put the tube down your throat, and the life support where you're on life support while you're in surgery. All of those things have happened many times, and we are at one of the best hospitals in the nation. So I had no doubt that Will would be completely taken care of, and I was not scared at all. And there are several things that need to happen before your child goes in for oral surgery or any kind of surgery, especially if it's scheduled. You have to get clearance from your pediatrician. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through where you go get the paperwork because the pediatrician has to fill out the paperwork from the dentist, and it's called a history and physical, and it states the pediatrician goes through all of your child's systems to make sure is their heart healthy, are their lungs healthy, are their kidneys healthy, all of the different systems. They check them off and make sure that your child's completely healthy and ready to go under anesthesia, because anesthesia is a big deal. Even though they put you on life support, it can alter you in ways. It can affect you where you don't wake up as quickly as normal people do, or as the average person does, or it may take more to put you under. And so they just want to make sure that you're completely healthy before they put you under anesthesia, because anesthesia can have its own complications. So we went through and got the checkup from our pediatrician, and she checked off and said that Will was completely healthy from her understanding. As far as she knew, he was, after her exam, he was healthy and ready to go under anesthesia. So then we had to take the form back to the dentist and make sure that our insurance was on board, and that we also had the money because we had a copay, so we had to make sure we had the money for the copay, because you have to pay the copay up front. And then make sure, because the hospital is a different copay, so there's lots of little things that you have to make sure you've done before your child goes in for oral surgery. So we got all of the things on the checklist finished, and we showed up that morning very early. Usually, when you go to surgery, you show up at 5:30 in the morning. And it was, you'll see in the video, he was cranky. He was hungry because he wasn't allowed to eat or drink after midnight. And so we were kind of thankful that he went in so early, because he wasn't really thinking about breakfast yet, hopefully. And we couldn't give him anything to drink. And we can't explain to him, I'm sorry, buddy, you're about to go under surgery and you're about to be put to sleep, and we can't give you anything to eat or drink. And the reason your child can't eat or drink anything is because once they put you under, you can't breathe without life support. And so sometimes the stomach, if there's anything in the stomach, your stomach will the contents will come up. And if the contents come up out of your stomach because there's something in your stomach and you're so asleep that you're completely out, when the contents come up, they can go back down and go into the wrong pipe, go into your lungs, and that's called aspiration. So when you aspirate, you vomit, and the contents from your stomach come up and then try to go back down, and they go into the wrong pipe. So they go down into your lungs, and that can cause very serious complications. That is why they don't let you eat or drink for a certain number of hours before you go in for surgery, because you cannot aspirate. Because if you aspirate, it can kill you. It will cause a very quick fatal pneumonia, and you can die. So, but we can't explain all of that to Will. We can't say, I'm sorry, buddy, there's a risk of aspiration, so we can't give you anything to eat or drink, but you're going to go to sleep and you're going to have a really long sleep and you're not going to remember. I can't tell him any of that. So, as far as I wasn't really worried about the surgery itself and about the dental work and about going under for anesthesia, I was kind of tense and worried about not being able to tell him what we were doing and why we couldn't give him anything to eat or drink. And he doesn't understand. And so you can see in the video, he's just really cranky. And the thing that I want to say most importantly is that those children's hospital staff were so easy about it. They did not mind. They didn't care that he was being loud. They could not get him to sit still so they could take his blood pressure before the procedure. And that kind of worried me, because I'm like, I know they want a baseline. I would want a baseline before I put a child under. I need to know what is his normal blood pressure before I put him under. And we could not get a blood pressure. So those kinds of things really stressed me out, because I'm a nurse and I know that that's what they need, but we couldn't get him to sit still and stop crying so that the blood pressure machine would actually take his blood pressure. And so they were so chill about it. They didn't get angry. They didn't get frustrated or upset. They were like, you know what, let's just wait. We'll just wait until after we've made him sleepy, because they make you sleepy before they actually put you completely under. And usually it's a medicine that they put in your IV, and it just kind of makes you drowsy and you forget. And then before they put you actually all the way under and do the tube, they let you get sleepy first. So I knew it would be okay, but still that can affect your blood pressure. And I was just like, oh, I wish we could get a good blood pressure. So anyway, we couldn't get a blood pressure, and they were so chill about it and not upset, and just said, let's do it after we make him sleepy. And I felt better about that. And then a funny thing that happened in the midst of all of this is our very first nurse walked in, and it was my cousin Danielle. And I was like, what? Oh my goodness. Hey, how's it going? I mean, and we're second cousins, so we don't see each other frequently, and we see each other more on Facebook. But I was like, oh my gosh, it's like family taking care of us, because it really was family. And so Danielle was his nurse for all of the pre-op, and she kind of talked us through what was going to happen. And it was like, one of my good friends was taking care of us, and it was a good friend. It was a family member. So that was a really fun, unexpected surprise, was that Danielle was there to take care of our family, and we got to catch up on some family stuff that we hadn't seen. We hadn't talked in forever, and how were the sisters doing, and how was my family doing. And then she was so chill about Will going back, and it kind of, any anxiety that I did have just went down, because we had family in the room, and we had knowledgeable family taking care of our baby. So anyway, that was a really nice, unexpected surprise. And you can see that Will went back to surgery, and when he came back out, he was totally sleepy. They did call us and tell us and report that during surgery he did well, and that Dr. Willingham had to work on every single tooth, which we knew he did, and which tooths, he told us which teeth he silver capped and which teeth he did a white filling. And he kind of apologized and said, there's one that's really close to the front that I just had to do a silver cap because it was the damage, it was too extensive. The rotten tooth was too extensive, and I had to just completely cap it. So he does have one tooth in the front, towards the front, that has a silver cap. And I'm like, dude, it is completely okay. You do what you have to do. And it was better than pulling the tooth, because it was one of the teeth that will take forever to grow back in. It's not one of the very front baby teeth. And so Will was going to be like 11 or 12 before that tooth would grow back in, so he didn't want to pull it. And so I'm like, dude, do whatever you have to do. That's completely fine. Completely appreciate what you've done to help Will. And Dr. Willingham is fast. Like, starting the IV, making him sleepy, putting him under completely, Dr. Willingham doing his work. And then he called us and let us know what all he did. And then the recovery nurse recovering Will for, 30 minutes to an hour, and then him coming back. He was gone probably a total of maybe 2.5 hours. So that's really good timing, considering it's not just the surgery, but they do all of those things before he comes back. So then you'll see when he comes back, he's very sleepy. Another good thing that I liked about the hospital is we completely forgot the headphones. And I don't know where we were. I guess we were just nervous about the surgery, but we completely forgot that he was going to have sensory issues. Like, the boy always has hearing sensory issues. I don't know why we thought that we wouldn't need the headphones, but it never even occurred to either one of us to grab the headphones. So when we got there was a patient advocate who stopped in to see us and asked us if there was anything that she could do for us. And then Danielle came in and said, hey, I know he's got sensory issues. Did y'all bring his headphones? And I was like, oh, I completely forgot the headphones. Where am I? And she's like, it's okay, I can go get some. So she found us some headphones. So you can see Will put on the headphones. It calmed him down considerably. And they let him wear the headphones after he woke up in recovery, and he came back to us with the headphones on, and we kept him on the whole time. We did not take him home, but we kept him on as long as we could before we left. So in any event, everything went really well, and I'm excited that we got all of his teeth fixed. And you can see in this video, like, I've given some examples of how he is after. I think a lot of his meltdown issues for the last couple of years even is because of his teeth, because he's been in pain. And there's sometimes where in the videos he's hitting his mouth and it looks like he wants you to feed him. I think his teeth were hurting. And this was the twin that would only eat soft food. He would drink a lot of protein shakes and eat a lot of yogurt, and he never wanted to bite into an apple. And I think and I hope that getting all of these problems fixed, this actual dental work fixed, I hope that this moves him forward positively, where he can start eating more normal food. Now, we've tried a couple of things that are like hard food, like chicken nuggets, and he still gags. So some of it is still sensory problems, sensory issues. But I'm hopeful that with his teeth getting fixed and him not being in pain, that this will really encourage him to try more foods. So we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed and say a prayer. And also, you can see this happy little boy, how happy he is. And I'm gonna, in the future videos, I'm gonna show little moments where he is just so happy. Like, he comes home happy, he goes to bed happy. Like, he is a completely different personality. And I feel terrible, kind of, knowing that it was because he was in so much pain. And we were so distracted with all of the other family problems that were going on at the time that we let it go for like 2 years and didn't know that he was progressively more and more in pain. And I have to not beat myself up about it now, because look, in retrospect, we see all of these things that we missed and we realize how much we needed to fix. And now that it's fixed, it's such a huge relief. And I'm so sad that my baby was hurting this whole time and I didn't know it. And even now, just talking about it, it makes me want to cry. But we're at a good place. Will is at a good place, and we just have to move forward and keep going and keep working with him and just be thankful that we got it fixed and try not to dwell on what we missed for so long. So anyway, that is the story of Will's oral surgery, and here's just a fun collection of clips showing how he did and how he's doing now. And I hope that you all enjoy this informative video regarding Will's surgery. We just saw the CRNA and now we're waiting on the sleepy medicine to come in a syringe, and we're going to give it to Will to make him sleepy. And it's going to be so good. Best nap you'll ever get, huh? You ready for that nap? There's that sleepy medicine nap. Trying to keep entertained until we get the sleepy medicine. You ready for ride a horse, ride a horse? All the sleepy medicine, and the dentist came in. Dr. Willingham came in and talked to us and told us what to expect. And now we're gonna just sit for a little while and get more sleepy, and then we'll get ready to go to surgery. friends, that's the end of our little informative moment clip session of Will going to oral surgery, and you've seen some of his happy moments since surgery, and you see that a lot of his problems have stemmed from just being in pain, and now he's not in pain, so he's a lot happier and fewer meltdowns, and we're just moving forward from here. If you liked this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you know of someone who needs to see our story and who can relate or who's been going through the same kind of thing, then share this video, share our channel, help us get our message out there. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I generally release videos on Saturdays and sometimes during the week when I have time. Sure, if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook, EllisFamLife, #AutisticTwins, and on Instagram, EllisFamLife_AutisticTwins. And sometimes I show more information than just what happens on the channel, lots of behind the scenes moments and extra moments that you can see. And like, share, ring the bell, subscribe, comment. Has your autistic child had oral surgery? How did they do? How did you feel about them going under? How did you feel about them being intubated on life support while they're in surgery? How did they do coming out from under anesthesia? Just tell me the story. Leave me a comment, let me know how it went for you. And if your child is going to have oral surgery, I hope that this video kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. If you have questions, leave me a comment below and ask me questions. Tell me your story. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to next time.